Welcome, and welcome again, guys. I am back with a big K. But I just want to cover the Gypsy Rose story very fast. Well, once upon a time, there was a lady called Didi. Didi met a guy that fell in love. You know what they say? Boys bring babies. So she had a baby. They named the baby Gypsy Rose. So Gypsy Rose was fine, but unfortunately, the relationship between her and their father it didn't work out. They divorced and things like that. So the mother was left taking care of Gypsy all by herself, but the father was there financially. So there were restrictions, but because they had moved, Gypsy Rose and Didi had moved to a different state, and by then the father obviously couldn't manage to be there like physically, so she was sending money and things like that. But unfortunately, uh, Gypsy started having like medical problems. She had a lot of diseases, like she needed medical attention 24/7, and she needed like a person that is going to be taking care of her 24/7. So enough for her, the mother was there. Didi was doing everything for her child. Didi was there, everything that she needed. If she had to go to surgery, Didi was there. By this time, Gypsy Rose, she was wheelchair bound. She couldn't do anything. You understand? She didn't even have any normal childhood because she was always sick and going to see different doctors because cancer was one of the illnesses that she had. So her hair had to be short all the time. But fortunate enough, people were there. People were very supportive, family members, people from all over. You understand? They were contributing money through GoFundMe. They even bought Didi and Gypsy a house. They bought them a car, and which was very thoughtful because they needed all these things because Didi couldn't really work because now she was taking care of her daughter 24/7. You understand? But you know how things are when you're starting to grow up, like when Gypsy was in her teenage years, like she started to wonder like what's out there, like what's happening, like my peers. By then she was like 15, 16 years old. She was like other people are dating, the hormones and things like that. When you are at that age, you question certain things, you understand? So she created a Facebook profile other than the profile that her and her mother had, because they shared a Facebook profile because her mother needed to take care of her 24/7. You understand? So she was monitoring everything that she's doing because this child is very sick, and she can't be left alone. You understand? She has to watch everything that is happening. So Didi, she created a Facebook account without her mother knowing. You understand? So she started texting her friend. She was like, I don't know, I'm wondering about boss. I don't know what's happening with me. I've never kissed a person and things like that. So the friend at first, she was like, but like this person, Didi, like she was telling people that Gypsy Rose, like she has a mind of like a 5-year-old, 6-year-old, so she doesn't think much for herself. So Didi has to do all the thinking for them. You understand? So the friend at first, she said she was like, oh, why is this person asking me such things? But she was a teenager. She was like, oh, it's understandable. You want? So after that, she created an account. She downloaded a dating site. It was Christian Mingle site. So on the Christian Mingle site, she met a boy. The boy was called Nicholas. They started dating. Everything was fine. They were lovey-dovey, but they were doing everything online because they were not staying in the same state, in the same province. You understand? So they continued dating. After a year, they decided to meet up. But Gypsy had to pay for this guy to come and meet up with her. You understand? So when they met up, Didi had an opportunity to see the person that was talking to her daughter, and she didn't approve. She didn't approve of this guy because she thought this guy is bad news. But by then, Gypsy Rose was so in love. She was meeting with this guy. She just thought like, this is my life. You understand? And this is her first boyfriend. She's she's curious, man, about the dating. She's curious about everything. And the guy, he was like, it's fine, we're gonna continue dating. Understand? Even though the mother doesn't approve. So they came up with a plan. Gypsy was like, okay, if you love me and you want to do everything for me, and you're willing to do anything for us to be together, I have a plan. So what was the plan? There was a plan to either kill the mother so that they can continue be together. The other plan was just to run away and go and stay with this guy. You understand? The other plan was just, maybe if we fall pregnant, if I fall pregnant, my mother's gonna be like, she won't have any other choice than to let us be together, to so that we can be free. You understand? So the guy was like, no, the best plan is for us to finish off your mother. You understand? So they came up with a plan. Gypsy had to go buy a knife and things like that. And throughout the things, when she was busy preparing for, imagine, she was busy preparing for this guy to come and murder her mother. So throughout everything, they're busy communicating, how are we gonna do it? When I come there, I want you to be wearing a red fingernails, finger paint. What you understand? Everything was just. She was very particular of how he wanted her to be looking like the day he was gonna come and do this horrible thing. You understand? So the day came, the guy, obviously Gypsy paid for everything again. The guy came. When he came, the guy that day, they decided like, okay, this is the day that this thing is gonna happen. So later on at night, they murdered the guy, Nicholas. He murdered Gypsy Rose's mother. But Gypsy Rose, she said she couldn't watch everything that was happening because for her it felt horrible and she doesn't like seeing blood. So she had to go to a different room and hide there. Not really hide because it's just the three of them, you understand, but she was on the other room just covering her ears so that she can't really hear everything. But she was hearing her mother scream. She was hearing her mother begging for her life and things like that. But she just wanted this person gone. She just wanted this person out of her life. So after doing the deed, everything, the next day they went to this guy's house and it was on a different state. Obviously, they went there. When they got there, obviously they didn't tell this guy's mother that, okay, we did this, we did that there when we left. You understand? So Gypsy decided to post on the Facebook page that she shared with her mother. She posted like, okay, that bitch is dead. You can imagine. So people that were very close to them, they started realizing like, no, this is weird. Like, why would somebody post this bitch is dead? You understand? So they decided to go and check up on Didi and see if everything was fine by there. So when they got there, this guy, like he said, he went there to check. So when he got there were 3 wheelchairs because Gypsy Rose couldn't walk. So she had wheelchairs that were assisting her. She had 3. You understand? So the guy, when he got there, like there were 3 wheelchairs, he was like, okay, if wheelchairs are here, then where is Gypsy Rose? Because Gypsy Rose, she can't work, she can't do anything, she's very sick. You understand? But later on, they found Didi, and the next day, Gypsy Rose and Nicholas, they were arrested. At first, they had came up with this thing that, okay, you're gonna deny, but obviously, under pressure, they broke and told the whole truth and everything. So they told the police that everything was planned out and things like that. They got arrested. So there was a day that they went to court. When they went to court, all the relatives that thought Gypsy Rose was sick, they saw her walking inside the courtroom. They were like, what's happening here? Like, can she walk? What's happening? Because this person is very sick. You understand? So when people saw her walking, it was very confusing for them. But that was when the whole court case was happening, that was when even Gypsy Rose, she realized that she wasn't even sick to begin with. So you can imagine your whole life, you spent your whole life thinking that when you are sick, you spent your whole life going to see different doctors, diagnosing you with a lot of different illnesses, cancer being one of them. Cancer is very serious. You have to be undergoing like a lot of treatments. So imagine taking all this unnecessary medication because you were told that you are sick. You were told that you couldn't work. But then she realized that no, everything, it was just made up. That was then when they realized that no, Gypsy Rose wasn't sick at all. Her mother fed her all this medication. the mother was the one that she was sick. The mother was mentally sick. She wasn't okay mentally. You understand? She was the kind of person that needed help, that needed sympathy from other people. You understand? So she was willing to do everything to hurt her daughter. Imagine hurting your only daughter for the attention, for people to pity you, for people to do things for you. You understand? So that was the kind of sickness that he had. So after that, she started questioning everything about her mother. She's like, okay, which means I never knew this person like to begin with. You understand? Because if your own mother is willing for you to undergo all these procedures that you didn't need in the first place, like what more is she capable of? You understand? So unfortunately, she got arrested because she murdered her mother. She was part of the plan, but she only got like 10 years, which she only served 8 years. And Nicholas, her lover, then he got life sentence. You understand? And now Gypsy Rose is out of prison after serving only 8 years, and Nicholas is still in jail because he got life in prison without parole. So for me, it's a story that, imagine, as a mother, I don't understand like what has to be going on in your mind for you to be thinking like, okay, this is right. Like, I need people to look at me, I need people to see me, I need people to feel sorry for me. Like, the best thing that I can use is my own daughter. You understand the damage she has caused to her daughter. And when Gypsy Rose went to prison, it was her first time. She was even telling one of her friends that this is my first time that I'm even experiencing things as a young adult, because she was like 23 when she got arrested. You understand? So she was just starting over with everything. Imagine just gaining your independence. I'm sorry, gaining your independence after doing something like that to your mother. You understand? But at the same time, I just felt like, I don't know if it was okay for her to go that far. You understand? But at the same time, was she ever going to be free if her mother was still there? You understand? It's a case that for me it was very weird and it was very confusing. Like, for you to get to that point to do something like that, like how far were you willing to go? Just watching your son, watching your daughter getting sick every day, like sicker and sicker and sicker and sicker. Everything's getting worse, worse, and you are just there. Continue to feed them everything that you think is right. Continue feeding them medication that, like, it was breaking her. She even lost a lot of teeth because she was just taking unnecessary medication. But for me, it doesn't make sense that, because if the doctors knew that she was perfectly healthy, like, why didn't they do anything to stop it, like from the very beginning? Like, as a doctor, I don't know much about doctors, but are you allowed to continue with something like that? Are you allowed to continue with people's delusions? Like, are you allowed to be there and just fuel everything and be like, if I come to you and be like, I have cancer, and like, yeah, you have cancer, here's the medication. Are you allowed to even do that? So for me, it was, that story is weird. And now, because she's out of prison, imagine being out of prison, then she's married, she's newly married. She got married when she was still in prison. You can understand that this person was just too excited to be out. She was just too excited to continue with her life. And I understand, she even said herself that she will forever regret doing what she did to her mother. But at the same time, does she really regret? Does she really regret doing something like that to her mother because now she's free? We will never know, because I don't think she can ever be honest with something like that, because people will come for her. I am happy for her. I'm happy for the newfound fame, because the day she came out of prison, like, she was just all over the place. Like, everyone just wanted to know more about her. Like, her social media accounts, they went crazy. Imagine, you just came out, you just have millions and millions of people following you, wanting to know what you are doing. You understand? But at the same time, her mother is gone. But also, is it fair that Nicholas is still in prison for this thing that happened? for this terrible thing that happened? Is it fair that Nicholas is still in prison and Gypsy Rose is out there living her best life? And on top of that, she even got married to a different man, not the one that helped her to commit this murder. And she is the one that came up with this thing that I want you to finish off my mother. But she's out. The guy is still in. I understand that he's the one who obviously went ahead, stabbed the poor woman with the knife and things like that. But she was there. She was listening to everything. She was listening to every bit of scream that her mother made. I don't know if she enjoyed, I don't know if she was horrified. We will never know. But for her to be out of prison, why is that, Vela? That is something that for me it's weird. Why is that if I come up with something and I'm like, okay, I want to finish off this person, why is it that if I don't do it personally and I get someone to do it, why can't I get a harsher sentence than the person who did it in the first place? You understand? Because I am the one who was thinking this thing all along. I am the one who was, you are evil if you can stay with me but plot my murder. I feel like you are far worse. You see me every day, your day is coming. Every day okay, today is going to be you are watching me. When I woke up, you watched me. When I served you food, you were watching me. Everything, you were just there. And you couldn't even warn me because you were too excited to be part of this horrible thing. And the boyfriend, Nicholas, didn't make it any easier because that guy had his own fantasies. He was a person that was struggling with a lot of things, even himself emotionally. He even had autism. You understand? So I just hope people can do better, and I would never want anyone to love me to an extent where they are willing to take a life for me. Never. And for me, I'd want the prison system to be more harsher on the people that initiate this kind of crime. If you are strong enough to be initiating and get someone involved, then why can't you do a more harsher sentence than the person that did it? Because you put the thought in their mind. You understand? And Gypsy, she put the thought that they were going to be happy forever and ever, but she's out with someone else. It's sad what happened to her. Obviously, I feel very sad, and for her to imagine starting your whole life now. She's 32 years old. Imagine starting your whole life now, you're just starting everything. You skipped all these chapters in your life because you were made, because your mother made you look like when you are not okay mentally. So you skipped a lot of things in your life. You didn't experience a lot of things in your life, and now in your 30s, you have to start your life all over again, doing all these things that kids didn't even get an opportunity to do. But where do you even start? Where do you even start with something like that? You understand? So it's a complicated thing, and these things they do happen. People are just evil. There are mothers that wouldn't even think twice to use their own kids for their own personal reasons that are selfish. So guys, I just hope everyone is doing fine, and thank you for watching. I'll be back with the big K in another video. Please comment, like, and subscribe. Please